Yo guys, so what the fuck is actually in Antarctica? There's a lot of speculation, like a lot of people think there's like a military base, a lot of military bases, a population of more than 1 million. There's a lot of speculation about it being like a alien civilization outside, or terrestrial. And there's a lot of people saying it's it's like a gateway to like an ancient Agartha, like a hollow earth theory whatsoever. So let's just speculate what is actually in Antarctica. We definitely know it's not some kind of like a penguins and shit, like what they tell us. Definitely know that's not the case. As we know, like the Antarctic Treaty, like if we anyone with a discerning brain can actually identify and actually research upon the Antarctic Treaty, you damn well know it's not just a bunch of penguins over there. That's the reason why every country on the planet has come to the conclusion that Antarctica is off limits for some reason.
Throughout our world, few places are more remote and mysterious than the continent of Antarctica. Spanning over 5 million square miles, this mass of land and ice is over twice the size of Australia, yet it holds a grand total of 0 permanent residents. Its brutally frigid conditions and strict visitation laws have made it impossible to fully explore, leading many to question what secrets it may be hiding in its icy landscape. In the mid to late 1950s, the United States was heavily invested in nuclear technology, and specifically nuclear weapons. In the midst of the Cold War, it was imperative for the country to gain superior knowledge on the subject than the Russians. Because of this, the United States was constantly building and experimenting on all things nuclear. Over the course of the Cold War, over 1,000 nuclear devices were fired as part.
Yeah, I heard that rumor that they're using Antarctica to test nuclear weapons, but I highly doubt that. That's not the only reason. The military activities in actually in Antarctica.
Part of US government experiments, with few being as controversial as the experiments conducted in Operation Argus. The main goal of Argus was to test the effects that nuclear weapons had in colder, high-altitude regions. With these experiments, an estimated 3 nuclear missiles were fired in the vicinity of Antarctica. However, the results of this experiment were never finalized, and the whereabouts of the location in which the missiles hit is still very much a mystery. Following this test, the task force in charge of the program was quickly dissolved, and the majority of the documents associated with the project were destroyed. Included in these documents was also the film reel that would have shown actual footage of the tests. So this alone is pretty sketchy. The destruction of evidence, the hiding.
Of course, they destroy every fucking document. Like, it's never clear a straight answer from the government or the officials. It's always like we lost the records, we lost technology, whatsoever. It's never a straight answer from them.
Of evidence as to what happened there is something that definitely raises some red flags, but it's also something that's not too surprising for that time period. But where this whole situation gets very strange is when you take a look at a previous mission that took place in Antarctica that has confused the public to this day. In 1946, the United States Navy sent troops to Antarctica to supposedly set up a military base and to train them for cold weather conditions as part of Operation High Jump. Now, this wasn't a small convoy or anything like that. All in all, 4,700 troops were sent up to the.
It's also the case if Antarctica is like what they claim to be. It's like the most strategic military position ever for missiles, but no other country fighting over it. No other country wants it. It's kind of strange.
Frigid landscape in December of that year. The operation lasted just barely a few months as the weather conditions supposedly got too severe. Which, I'm not sure what they were expecting there, if we're being honest. It's Antarctica. In total, it was reported that 4 men lost their lives in the short expedition. However, some believe that the number is actually much higher than that, and that in their time up there, the United States Navy was attacked. It is theorized that upon the trip through the harsh landscape of Antarctica, the brigade was attacked by unknown crafts, which forced them to retreat out of the area. The attack was highlighted in a now leaked Soviet report where KGB agents had gained knowledge from US soldiers present at the site of the attack. The US soldiers claimed that while they were being attacked by these hostile forces, they reportedly opened fire on the crafts, ultimately shooting one down into the water below. However, the advanced technology of these crafts proved way too much for the fleet to handle, and they were forced to retreat after losing several aircrafts and men in the attack. After the fleet returned back to the United States, one of the leaders of the expedition, Admiral Byrd, began discussing with the media that the United States should set up defense bases in the polar regions, and that flying crafts from the area posed a serious threat to the United States.
Yeah, I don't believe the flying craft story. Like, that's something like they put it to like delegitimize what he actually says. I'll pull up the interview after this video, what Admiral Byrd said. But I think like every time they talk about like alien spacecrafts and civilization, it's actually like advanced military technology. Every time they talk about aliens, it always has to be like a advanced military technology, like that's not revealed to the public. Same thing that's happening, or not today, that the US claims there's aliens now. Like, it's just always has been advanced military technology, with technology from ancient civilization.
After these shocking and controversial statements, Byrd was thrown into a mental institution and never heard from again. Piecing together the alleged attack on
I think he also like died in his sleep, which is very weird. Like, he actually died from heart attack. I think that's the case from in his own sleep. It's very weird if you talk about it.
Operation High Jump, with the subsequent bombing of the region with Operation Argus, the whole situation leaves a dark theory. Some believe that Operation High Jump was actually an invasion of Antarctica in order to fight off some mysterious force. I mean, why else would they send that many soldiers there? Like, do you really need 5,000 men to set up a research base? And maybe when this operation failed, and when the United States Navy realized that they were no match for this advanced weaponry, perhaps they fired those nuclear weapons to take care of the enemy once and for all. Now, I feel like this theory is definitely out there, but the fact that it was in an actual Soviet report, and the fact that Byrd was speaking out about this enemy and was quickly silenced, makes it still intriguing to me. Plus, I can't get over why they would send that many people up there to set up a base, and I can't get over why they would fire those nuclear weapons in Antarctica for research when they didn't even end up posting any actual research from their findings. And what about the tapes? Okay, you know what? Let me chill. Let me chill real quick. So obviously I have a lot of questions about this theory that I wish I could have answered. And perhaps the biggest one to me is what actually was this unknown force that may or may not have attacked the Navy that day. And the theories into this are just flat out crazy. Many of the most popular conspiracy theories surrounding the region of Antarctica deal with alien life. Its vast and unexplored landscape makes it one of the only places on Earth that could really hold alien life that would go completely undetected. Like, aliens could just
Ready?
unknown crafts, which forced them to retreat out of the area. The attack was highlighted in a now leaked Soviet report where KGB agents had gained knowledge from US soldiers present at the site of the attack. Theories surrounding the region of Antarctica deal with alien life. Its vast and unexplored landscape makes it one of the only places on Earth that could really hold alien life that would go completely undetected. Like, aliens could just be chilling up there right now, and guess what? We'd have no idea. I mean, I'm not saying they are, but we really can't say that they aren't, right? Now, throughout the years, many have pointed to things like these pyramid structures throughout the region and claim that they are bases of aliens. They think that aliens actually...
Yeah, and these pyramids are entirely like throughout the whole world. Like, these pyramids are like throughout the world, bro. And there's a lot of them in Antarctica. There's a lot of around the world. This has to be something to do with old world civilization, like what they try to hide. And there's a lot of those pyramids in Antarctica.
created these things. And further structures have also been spotted on things like Google Earth that seem to look like man-made or alien-made buildings or layers. And due to our inability to explore these regions and confirm or deny whether these are structures or not, it causes our imagination to kind of run wild with what could have made them and what could be living in there. Now, me personally, I tend to view these structures as just kind of weird shaped rocks, but I will give some credit that quite a few of them do look pretty convincing. Now, just recently, a photo from Google Earth went viral of what appears to be a spaceship crashed in the snow on an island just outside of Antarctica. With this photo, you see a definite trail behind a large tube-like object, making it appear that whatever this thing was, it had just crash landed. Now, this photo has quickly become synonymous with alien life in the region, though some
Isn't it me they're trying to really hard to sell the alien idea? Like, they're trying very hard to push the alien idea.
experts are quick to dismiss it as a rock that simply slid down a mountain via avalanche. It's a really interesting photo that has many who believe that aliens are truly out there excited. And there's no shortage of other photos like this that supposedly show crashed UFOs in the snowy Arctic. Many believe that these crafts are the work of alien life forms thriving in this desolate region. These people also tend to believe that these aliens were also responsible for the attack on the US Navy. It's a frightening concept, thinking that hostile alien life forms may be living in Antarctica, and the idea that they have attacked before may also mean that they may attack again, and with no defense bases anywhere in the region, nothing would be stopping them from attacking, let's say, a research team of ours in the area. But to me, the idea of aliens being responsible for these mysterious crafts is not even close to being the most interesting theory.
You know, there's also like a theory like the ancient fallen, the fallen angels are also residing in Antarctica. There's a civilization about them, the Nephilim, and a lot of people get their marching orders. The elites of the world get their marching orders from them. It's an interesting theory if you think about it.
Richtig hältst, ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich gearbeitet habe, dass ich mich in diesen Jahren für dich eingesetzt habe.
Bro, okay, this shit goes crazy. Let me just start by introducing the theory, and then I'm going to backtrack and explain how it could be possible, so stick with me here. So the theory here is that members of the Nazi Party were able to escape to Antarctica after World War II. It's said that the Nazis also took with them advanced weaponry from the war. Weaponry like flying saucers that were responsible for the attack on Operation High Jump. Okay, so confusing and weird, I know, but let's unpack this for a minute. Even before the start of World War II, Hitler had a fascination with Antarctica. There, he sent multiple fleets to survey the landscape and supposedly look for margarine fat due to the fact that the country's supply would soon be cut off during the war. On these missions, it is theorized that Hitler saw an opportunity, as the vast continent provided the perfect conditions for a hideout should things go wrong.
You know, maybe it's a reason, like, they all turned against him.
Now, fast forwarding a bit here to the actual war, it is no secret that Nazis were innovators and they were obsessed with creating new and crazy technology. These technologies included things like wonder weapons and all sorts of other shocking and disturbing things. And it is believed that at one point the Nazis set their sights on creating an advanced aircraft that would be ultra powerful and especially difficult to bring down. These crafts would have been something completely new to our world.
Maybe there's a reason why every country, like, band together to fight against these people. Maybe these people were uncovering the truth. Who knows?
If they were actually able to create them. And in this theory, believers claim that they actually did. They believe that the Nazis were able to build these flying saucers in secret and use their overpowered weaponry to defeat their enemies. And looking at all the other crazy stuff that they were able to invent, I mean, it's still improbable, but it's definitely not impossible that they were actually able to accomplish something like this. Okay, so if they had this advanced weaponry, how did they end up in Antarctica? Well, perhaps after World War II had ended, the remaining Nazis fled their homeland to avoid persecution and landed in Antarctica, where they likely would have never been found. And the idea of Nazi soldiers and officials escaping Germany after World War II is something that is definitely not outlandish. So many of them have been reported dead, and yet very few bodies were actually ever discovered from the high-ranking Nazi officials. Which that's a whole conspiracy theory of its own, whether these people are still alive or not. But if they are, maybe
Yeah, the Operation Paperclip. That's like a true fact. Like a lot of officials got transported from. A lot of officials got, recruited from Nazi Germany to the United States military.
Maybe they fled to Antarctica. And maybe they took their advanced aircrafts with them to A, escape undetected, and to B, keep their technology a secret to possibly use at a later date. I mean, this kind of makes sense because, as I mentioned before, the Nazis had more information on Antarctica than probably any other country at the time. Because remember, they had sent crews there on multiple occasions. Also, in 2016, Russians actually discovered a legitimate abandoned Nazi base in Antarctica. So they had at least one legitimate settlement there, and it might not be too far-fetched to believe that maybe they had more that just haven't been discovered yet. So perhaps when the US Navy was visiting the area way back in 1946, they stumbled a little too close to the Nazis' secret base. And the Nazis used their advanced aircrafts to fire at the crews and deter them from coming any closer and truly discovering their hideout. And stretching it even further, maybe the US retaliated by shooting those missile tests in the area in order to secretly and quietly kill off the remaining Nazi troops. It is so crazy to think about, it is so weird, it is so probably not true, but it so totally could be. Maybe someday we'll find out.
Probably. We know they're hiding everything, bro. Like, they'll never reveal anything to us. There's a lot of F-Earthers. We can't say the F word out loud ever here. They claim there's like a mass conspiracy. But there's like a mass conspiracy around here. Like, this is an interesting concept. Yes, the ice wall. Damn it, that's also on the United Nations map. Yeah, bro, this is the video. Like, independent independent dudes actually took a boat and went there, and they got turned around by the military. I was searching for that video, but this video is nowhere near available. It was on YouTube, but they took it down, I think. Yeah, there's like a representation of a lot of things in movies. Like everything they reveal a lot of information through movies. The elites. I also wanted to show the Admiral Byrd interview. Like, yeah, this was like the ancient flat F-Earth map that's been hidden unlocked away in the Japanese Buddhist temple, hidden for 1,000 years. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. Like, it's a lot of things we don't actually know. At this point, who knows what's actually real? Wait, I have to read this. How can like ancient priests actually make a map? Without actually like, how did they even explore? Like, it's kind of crazy if you actually think about it. Even if it's actually like false, they have this level of precision to get actually the map. It's kind of crazy. has been hidden from the Japanese government in modern times, just as it was in ancient times in olden days. This map would have been destroyed by the authorities. I was government. Yo, this is insane. This is true. Like, ancient people have already figured out. Kinda crazy if you think about it. Yeah, there's like a effort information that the Antarctica is like the highest elevation ever. It's bigger than Mount Everest. They are the highest elevation ever. Like, it's kind of crazy. Think about it. Yeah, they use subliminal messaging like in every fucking movie. Like every fucking Hollywood movie, there's like a messaging. This is Game of Thrones. Never watched this stupid show. But I see they're using subliminal messaging and like every movie they provide glimpses of truth. Okay, this is the infamous Admiral Byrd interview. Like, let's watch it.
Company, maker of Longines, the world's most honored watch, and Whitnor, distinguished companion to the world-honored Longines, and Kenneth Crawford, National Affairs Editor of Newsweek magazine. Our very distinguished guest for this Crawford, Longines Chronoscope, is Admiral Richard E. Byrd.
The North Pole used to be a no-man's land, but these are the days when, by buying a ticket on a commercial airliner, you can fly across the North Pole and drink a cocktail at the same time. You know, only 60 or more years ago, about 35 years ago, our guest tonight found out whether there was any land north of the North American continent. He made that first discovery flight, and I must say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole.
Area big as United States? Come on, bro. Like, if there's an area big as United States, if people are circumnavigating from north south, which has never been done, like, people would actually see, like, there's like an area big as United States. It's kind of crazy.
From Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
That's a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Admiral, do you hope to see that?
I do.
Well, Admiral,
Yeah.
would you say that since you've been to both the extremities of Earth, are these expeditions to such far-off places, are they getting easier because of modern techniques, or is danger still close at hand?
Well, it's a little risky, but nothing like it used to be with the old slow planes and the small cruising radius where we had to put down bases. We replaced the dog teams, and of course that was a big improvement. But now the planes go much faster and they are safer, and they have a much bigger cruising radius. You haven't got the danger of a terribly heavy load.
Admiral, an expedition to which I believe you're the advisor is now en route. What is that expedition doing?
Well, that's the icebreaker Atka, and it's a reconnaissance expedition. It's going down to the South Pole area to make certain observations and to look for some bases. They will be back in April, and they will report back, and upon the information we get from that undertaking, we will base the bigger expedition that's to follow.
Is that very definitely planned, or is that...
That is being planned right now. So I'm willing to say to you that there will be a number of expeditions that will follow, I think, year after year, at the bottom of the world, because the government has really become interested.
Well, Admiral Byrd, I can understand, I think everybody can, the interest in the North Pole because it's so near our greatest challenger, Soviet Russia. But why this interest in the bottom of the world? Nobody living down there, is there?
No, it's pretty cold. There's only one permanent resident, that's the emperor penguin. The little ones live further north. I tell you one reason they're interested. It's by far the most valuable, important place left in the world for science. That's why the scientific groups all over the nation are really
Does this dude even look crazy? No, he doesn't. He speaks articulate in every manner, well articulated.
interested. But more important than that,
A lot of people consider him as crazy lunatic or whatsoever.
it has to do with the future of the nation, those to come after us, or even during your lifetime. Because it happens to be an untouched reservoir of natural resources.
Yeah, and this is also like a very big deal. Like, if what he claims is being true, like if there's like a huge amount of natural resources, oil, and other resources whatsoever, gold, minerals whatsoever, like it will like delegitimize their reason for making war in the Middle East, like the U.S. making war in the Middle East just for oil. Like it would delegitimize that reason whatsoever, and if you get rid of all this, oh we don't have any natural resources left on the planet, it's gonna be the end of the world. Like our resources are dwindling. There's plenty of fucking resources everywhere, and if Admiral Byrd, what he says is true. Like there are more resources outside beyond the Antarctic wall than every claim they tell. Is the to every claim they tell to legitimize a war is actually fucking false. The world is not ending. The world is not having dwindling resources. They have plenty of resources, and what they lead to actually always lie.
And, as the world shrinks with an ever-increasing acceleration, far-flung places once useless, like we thought the North Pole was, and no man's land, become very useful. The bottom of the world will be important, not only to us, but to our allies.
I was going to ask you, does it have military importance?
It has some, and as the world shrinks, it will continue to shrink with an ever-increasing acceleration, thus bringing these places closer. And in the future, I can see a time when it will be very, very important strategically.
Well, has the development of air power increased the strategic importance of places like the
very much
Parma Peninsula, was it?
Very much so. Even now, if anything happened and we lost the Panama Canal, we would have to control the islands just north of Antarctica, which are part of Antarctica, then between there and Cape Horn.
I've heard it said that there are 7 continents in the world, and one of them has never been seen by a woman, and that's Antarctica. Is that actually true?
Well, if the Palma Peninsula is an island, as far as I know, that's true. No woman's ever stepped foot upon the Antarctic continent, and it's the most peaceful place in the world.
Well, I'm sure that won't last very long. I understand now that you're working with the Arnold Bread Company in charge of frozen foods. Now, is there any future for frozen foods down these frozen extremities?
Well, I think the human race can be helped by that. This was thought out by Dean Arnold, who's, in my opinion, a great humanitarian. He learned that we went down there after 4 or 5 years and finished a meal that we had left there on the table when we had evacuated Little America. Everything was perfect, including the bread.
Yeah, there are much more natural resources. It's not... No fossil fuels is actually going out. Like, there's much more fossil fuels, oils, petroleum, whatsoever. Whenever they say, oh, we're conservation of energy, it's always bullshit. It's always bullshit to get you buy electric cars. It's always bullshit, bro. To increase the prices of oil for no reason. It's all about control for these people. There's much more natural resources out there.
So he got the idea of this frozen bread, and already he sent some to Europe, and it's worked very well over there for some of the starving people. So you can store it down in the Antarctic and against the lean years, and you wouldn't have any people in the world really starving if you did that.
Yes, in the event of an atomic war...
You'd stay there forever.
Admiral, you speak of the resources of Antarctica. What are they? What are the natural resources there?
Well, we've found enough of coal within 180 miles of the South Pole in a great ridge of mountains.
You know, you should You should not be allowed to explore 60 degrees south latitude. No one's allowed to actually explore. You'll be stopped at a military gunpoint.
It's not covered with snow, enough to supply the whole world for quite a while.
Well,
that's the coal. Now, there's evidence of many other minerals. We're pretty sure there's oil. Now, that coal shows the bottom of the world.
Yeah, there's much more natural resources. There's a lot of coal. There's pretty much oil there.
Now, by far, the coldest spot in the world, where that coal is, gets 100 below zero in the winter.
well,
It was once tropical. So we think there's oil there, and there's evidence, probably uranium there.
is it any secret? Is there uranium there? That would be the only thing that would be practical to actually go after, I suppose. Everything else would be economically unfeasible, wouldn't it?
Well, as we recklessly expend our resources, the time will come when we'll have to go after that stuff down there.
Well,
you know, I avoided what you said about uranium. I'm not sure about that. I don't want to have the world fight over the Antarctic.
And Robert, is there a competition among other nations to try to get information about Antarctica and possibly to secure some of these resources?
Well, yes. There are now 7 nations very much interested. Russia is interested tremendously. That I'm sure of. Australia has an expedition down there. The Argentine, the Chile, New Zealand, Britain, and so on. Now, you can understand those people down there being interested because they live down there. The New Zealanders, the Argentinians, the Chileans, and Australians. And so we don't do much about claiming anything.
Admiral, you make
Do
this
we
sound a little crowded. Are there that many expeditions now there or en route there?
Well, you know, as I said, it's the most peaceful place in the world, but I don't think it will be for long because of this intense interest on the part of other nations and this nation.
Well, Admiral Byrd, are private expeditions a thing of the past? Is expedition and exploration, making expedition and exploration now purely a government function because of the tremendous
no,
cost
I
and
don't think
organization?
so. I think down south it may be more or less a thing of the past, but not other expeditions that go there. A lot of them go north now.
This latest expedition now on the way is a government expedition, I take it.
Yes, that's the government.
Admiral Byrd, may I ask you, is there a great difference between the top of the world and the bottom of the world?
There is. Now, the North Pole is the center of an ocean 10,000 feet deep. The South Pole, the center of a plateau, 10,000 feet high. The North
See, it's one of the highest elevation ever. Like, they don't teach you this in school.
Polar Sea is surrounded by continents that are slightly frozen. The Antarctic continent is surrounded by a belt of ice, frozen seas of at least 1,200 miles thick. Now, the south is a plateau. It gets, in some places, 14,000 feet up. I've been over areas about 13,000, and it's a little bit chilly up there.
And this dude randomly dies in his sleep after this interview. Like, it's kind of shady, bro.
So there's that big difference between the top and bottom of the world. The north really isn't very cold up there on the Arctic Ocean.
Not compared to the south. Admiral Byrd, we often hear it said that our young Americans now aren't as hardy as their forefathers. Do you think that Americans do measure up to the standards, the physical standards and morale standards of the past?
I do. I don't believe that. I think they're just as hardy.
Well, what would you say was the most valuable factor on an expedition? Is it morale, or physical courage, or is it sheer equipment?
Well, I've always thought that loyalty was by far the most important trait. The British told me that when I first went down in 28 that I couldn't possibly get through the winter night without a mutiny if I took more than 20 men. But to serve science, I had to take 42 men. Then I took 56 the next time, and so on. So, and I did find that loyalty was the most important thing during the winter night when it's very hard on your nerves. I think that's trait.
Well, that's a very valuable characteristic at any time. Well, thank you very much, Admiral Byrd. It's been a great pleasure.
this is the highest elevation ever, like. And then it teaches in school, bro. It's one of the highest elevation land ever. And this extends for a lot of while. Yeah, I also want to show you this. It's like a whistleblower in someone who works in Antarctica. Like,
that proves that In 2010, I was selected to go down to the South Pole Station in Antarctica for an entire year by Raytheon Polar Services as an employee of a third-party contractor for the National Science Foundation. I function in a dual-role capacity.
I don't know if this dude is actually a real or a psyop, but it's pretty interesting what he had to say.
As a tradesman and a firefighter. My responsibilities required me to be more informed than most of my crew and offered me complete access to the facilities. What I learned from this unique experience needs to be shared with the entire world. The technology at the South Pole Station certainly can do what it is presented as its primary purposes, and unfortunately, much more. The Ice Cube neutrino detector is presented as a passive listening device for the purposes of the science as presented. But I'm going to skip right through the chase, folks. I have provided documentation that proves that the 5,160, what they call DOMs, that are embedded in the ice can actually transmit at 2,047 volts each. That gives us a long list of things to consider.
So they got death ray, neutrino rays, like, they got death rays at Antarctica. Like,
There's effectively
it's crazy what kind of technology they have over there.
A multifaceted directed energy weapons platform that
Yeah, they've been hiding energy weapons for a while, bro. Like, the U.S. military always had energy weapons.
I will list rapidly a few things that it can do. Vehicle detection. We're learning that these off-world craft, on-world craft, ours or other nations, are also emitting neutrinos. So this makes the South Pole Station effectively an air traffic control station for this new level of equipment that nobody's discussing. In addition to the ability to detect neutrinos and the exotic vehicles, I have provided documentation that shows that this is also a system for faster than light communications. In the past, Gary McKinnon has hacked NASA, found the off-world fleet, the list of captains, and it's apparent that if we have faster-than-light vehicles moving throughout this system, we're going to need faster-than-light communications. This is that facility. Unfortunately, I have other bad news. The season that I was there, 2010 to 2011, we converted from construction to operations and maintenance in both the elevated station and the detector array. Unfortunately, when they first fired it up, that was when we had the earthquakes in Christchurch, New Zealand.
Bro, are you telling me they're responsible for earthquakes? Like, natural disasters are caused by man itself? It's not even natural? Are you insinuating that human beings are the ones responsible for earthquakes?
There's 2 incidental shots before they were able to target it correctly. This is an...
You're telling me the experiments they did in Antarctica is directly responsible for earthquakes happening in New Zealand? That's kind of crazy if you actually think about it. It's kind of crazy, bro. And also, I want you to show this. There's like a island in Antarctica named Rothschild Island. I'm not making this up. You can go check it by yourself. There's a Rothschild Island. There's also like a Deception Island. Small things like a Deception Island. The name of this island is this Deception Island. Like, you could not make this up, bro. Rothschild Island and Deception Island. You could not make this up, bro. You can check this for yourself, bro. Like, it's kind of crazy, bro. What they actually doing there. And it's no transparency, so no one actually knows what the fuck is Antarctica. We're just speculating. All this for entertainment purposes. Everything is just comedy in this video, so we're just speculating.